think is, again, as it affects me, I didn't realize, based on what's being said, that Puff had so much control over so many people in so many industries. And it's a tight-knit circle. It seems like they all keep a good secret. This is what it seems like. And it seems like they're very loyal to each other. So if the guy that I'm having a problem with is over there, and that's part of their circle of coolness or black excellence or whatever that crew is, that would mean that I can't do business, or I could never do business with Puff, even if I wanted to. And probably that, to me, would mean I can't do business with anybody else that was in that house, that was in that club. So now it all makes sense. You know, like certain people that were cool with me all of a sudden just stopped. Like Kevin Hart, for example, who's another person that I look at like he was on Rockefeller Films, right? Like I discovered Kev. And, you know, so what happened with Kevin and I was we kept up with each other. Like up till he was in NYC, he was doing a show at the New York, what was it at, Ron? NYU. And I went to go see him. At the time he was with Tory, he still had his family with him, and he was getting into bigger venues. And, you know, we got pictures out of find him. And then the next time it was the Garden, and I didn't get the call. And we just stopped being cool. It was like all of a sudden, the minute he got to a certain level, he stopped calling. And that's happened with me with people where once they get, and then all of a sudden there's a whole new set of friends. And now I see him over there, like I didn't know all this, but I see him over there, you know, they got the tapes of him at the party with the mic, and when people ask him questions, he's real serious, and I'm like, damn, what the fuck is going on? Kevin's over there too? And now, if I could ask him, I'd be like, yo, what the fuck you was doing over there? Like, because I've known these people for 20, 30 years. So I could, you know, we talk like that. So it wouldn't be like an uncomfortable conversation. You're a comedian. I'd be like, yo, you had the baby on you was next to the bed. Like, you got to tell me something. And why are you being so quiet about it? You know what I'm saying? But again, it all makes sense. It'd be like, well, how come all of a sudden it was just all of a sudden you new friends? So what it leads me to believe is, if you're going to be friends with those people, they make you choose a side. And there's a lot. I'm like, damn, I got to do, like, literally my instincts were right. I really have to do everything on my own.
It's 2020, y'all. Yeah. And it's different than when it was 2016. You know, the game has been elevated. As we can tell, there's no expense being spared. We had a Black Billionaires Lunch.
I didn't do nothing Puffy did. So much excitement that there was no reason for me to put something in a drink. I need you to remember.
Man, this is just crazy. Dame Dash here describing, like, y'all heard him, man. Hit the comments and let me know what you think. But it sounded like he was breaking down like a secret society. We just heard the agent that raided Diddy's crib come out and say, you know, from being there firsthand and what he's seen. Don't forget, this is a Homeland Security agent, you know what I mean? They pulled all kinds of electronics up out of Diddy's crib, footage, hidden cameras, allegations of stuff being sold over the dark web, all kinds of twisted ish, you know what I mean? And then you hear Dame Dash saying, like, I didn't realize Diddy had so much control and was so powerful and seemingly crossed over into other industries, into films, into the rich and elite, the powerful, the upper echelon of society, you know what I mean? Like, and then you add that up with this agent saying Diddy ran in the same circles as Harvey Weinstein and Epstein and all that, man. And it's sounding flat out like he's just describing a secret society, you know what I mean? Almost like a branch of the Illuminati. And it's wild, you know, we've heard these allegations with Jay-Z dating way back, man. You know what I mean? There's so many theories out there. To me, it was bugged out to see him rocking the Aleister Crowley shirt with the "Do What Thou Wilt" quote on it. Like, that really was some bugged out ass shot. I couldn't for the life of me quite understand why in the fuck Hove had that on. You know what I mean? I'm a huge Jay-Z fan. I never wanted to bleed none of this ish. You know what I mean? I'm like, man, this is all just internet folklore, man. People running wild with the conspiracy theories. But what we're seeing going on here, as things unfold more and more, man, it's just getting spooky as a motherfucker, man, you know? But I don't know, some individuals may dismiss it as just Dame Dash being hard to work with, as he's had falling outs with a lot of individuals outside of the whole Rockefeller split and Jay-Z and their dispute and beef that carries on to this day, to this very moment right now, as he's trying to sell his third of Reasonable Doubt. And you know, the federal government is involved, as Dame Dash owes back child support, millions of dollars in taxes and some other kind of debt to the government Department of Social Services, wanting that child support money got involved in the whole situation, because I think they had to have like an arbitrator in, because there was a lawsuit and it went federal, and then again the government's trying to take their share of the money to pay Dame Dash debt. They're like, yo, you're delinquent, motherfucker, we need that. You know, they have individuals, again, like they tried to arbitrate, mediate everything for him to get his piece of the pie with Rockefeller and Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt, you know, the first project on Rockefeller. And there was just no coming to terms at all. They continued to butt heads, bump heads, like they were not gonna agree. And as he's trying to have this auction and find someone to buy his third of Reasonable Doubt, they flat out said Jay-Z has been doing all kinds of stall tactics as far as filing these court motions and stuff like that to oppose the sale of the project, and then go as far to try to say that it isn't really worth anything, that the copyrights will revert back in 6 years, so that anyone that buys it will only own it for 6 years. And Dame Dash, with the federal government backing him, is saying like, no, that's not even true at all. It's for a super long time that the person will be able to eat off the copyrights and own this. Like, they're just flat out saying Jay-Z is just being extra petty and doing everything he can to fuck it all up for Dame Dash. And it's just so crazy that whatever the beef is, the dispute, these individuals, you know, having their situation fall apart where they were like partners, you know, and next thing you know, Rockefeller splits and Dame Dash tried to go his own way and do Dash music, and Jay-Z went on to be the president of Def Jam for a while, to build the whole Rock Nation empire, to have a partnership with the NFL, the whole Inspire Change initiative, to be involved in all just different kind of stuff, rubbing shoulders with Bill Gates and individuals like that. You know, it's like, where did it all go bad with him and Dame? You know, we saw artists like Memphis Bleak say he saw it coming, but to the public, like, that was wild watching Rockefeller fall apart and split. It really truly was like the death of a dynasty, which is so wild. You heard Dame Dash talking about Rockefeller Films, death of a dynasty, like, saw in a satirical way played out a Rockefeller split, which we really saw happen in real time. You know what I'm saying? When life imitated art, it was bonkers. It was crazy. You know what I mean? So a lot of individuals may say, nah, that's what it is. Dame's just hating, and you know, and again, he's been deemed hard to work with. Like, he's had situations with a lot of other individuals, but like I said, to see Jay-Z being so extra petty right now with this whole selling a third of Reasonable Doubt, it just is like, what is going on? What really started it between these two, and has it still going this strong all these years later? Why is Dame Dash doing all these interviews? You know, I've often said, when individuals seemingly speak out in regards to the elite or the Illuminati or whatever you want to call it, or government-ish, you know, in different situations, like not just speaking of this, like they never speak about it directly head on. They kind of speak about it in code, you know. It's bizarre if you really peep the scene, you know what I mean? Like, again, we're not just talking about entertainers and such. We're talking about people within the government, CIA-ish, all that. For the most part, people speak about it in code and are very careful in which the way they speak. They tiptoe around things, you know. And I don't know, it's like with all this going on, is Dame Dash just trying to capitalize off this? As you know, there's been all these theories that Jay-Z's next, you know, as I pointed out in other videos. 50 Cent have been telling us for the longest time, Billy Joel voice, for many, many years, that Diddy was no good, you know, like that it was more than him just trolling Diddy, that there was some extra spooky, extra weird type ish going on. We see the way it all played out now. And then we see him starting to troll Jay-Z and be like, yo, Jay won't answer the phone for Puff. Jay went into hiding and things like that. It's like, is 50 just trolling Jay-Z? Is it just jokes and jabs, or is it a similar situation like Diddy, where he's letting us know Jay-Z's complicit in a lot of this, you know? I think about it all, it's pretty bugged out. I mean, these are just theories. Like I said, I'm a Jay-Z fan, but I don't know, man. There has been some things over the years, like I ain't never want to believe it, but that Aleister Crowley shirt was extra weird to me, you know, and the Rockefeller clothing that said master your craft and all that on it. I don't know, man. And again, then we got a Homeland Security agent speaking out, unnamed, right, to the media, saying, hey, I was there that day when we raided. I've seen a lot of what the feds got, as he is a branch of the federal government, the federal authorities. And he's saying, listen, Diddy ran with the same social circles as Harvey Weinstein and Epstein. And just, I don't know, hearing these words from Dame Dash, it really has me wondering if he's just like connecting the dots and sitting back and saying, oh man, this ish is spooky. Like, no wonder why I was always kind of blackballed and pushed out, and Jay-Z broke away from me in the way in which he did. Or is he just like, man, let me take a shot at Jay, let me talk my ish because I see this Diddy situation going on, or what? Like, what do you guys think about it? Do you believe that there's truth to this? Like, flat out, tell me that's not what it sounded like he was talking about when he was describing these individuals being loyal. I don't think he said secretive, but it felt like he said something along those lines, or that's what he was hinting at, right? And you heard him say how they make you make a choice. Is that what he's saying, that all these years ago Jay-Z made this choice, that he's aligned with these individuals, you know, that it crosses over, like Diddy really is a part of something bigger than what any individual can really fathom, you know? Can all these wild internet conspiracy theories be more true than we actually think? Like, I don't know, man. It's some disturbing ish to think about, but to me, man, that sounded like it was what Dame Dash was saying, man. Like I keep saying, the more stuff, like we saw that same Homeland Security agent. I did a video on it. I'll pin it below. If y'all ain't seen it in the comments, go check it out. He was saying, like, these lists of celebs, you know, they weren't all totally complicit, but, you know, again, he's running with Weinstein and Epstein's people and individuals that were around some of the parties that weren't the parties with the, you know, wicked activities going on and all that. You best believe people spoke. People know, word had traveled around. Individuals knew what happened on Diddy Island, you know, after dark, so to speak, metaphorically speaking, man. I don't know. So jump in the comments. Let me know what y'all think. But speaking of Rockefeller films, like I was talking about Death of a Dynasty, you know, that portrayed the breakup of Rockefeller and all that. You heard Dame speaking about Kevin Hart, someone that he like put on, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I'm so black, I play hide and go seek when I was young. They ain't find me till I was grown.
Birdie,
And I want to be black so bad that I got a picture of Doc Cornelius under my pillow.
Johnny,
I'm sure not black, but I got real big teeth.
Sean. They were three friends with a plan.
You told me you were just gonna go check the spot out?
Well, we checked it out. Now we checking in.
Rob from the Rich.
You gonna pick the lock?
Yeah, I'm a locksmith.
I didn't know that.
Give to themselves
Oh, look at that. Dropped a lot of my money. I can't stand when I drop like 30,000 like that. You see that?
and get the girl.
You must not know. A nigga get ready to own this.
Really?
Half. Like this half.
Considering my cousin owns the whole thing, I don't know how that's gonna happen.
Get mom for the back.
Let me hear
But
that.
they weren't the only players in town.
It's open. And this rob easier than I thought, huh?
Well, what's up?
Now, to keep their records clean,
We're gonna be about 5 to 10 minutes. Are you listening to me?
We're gonna do 5 to 10 if you don't hurry up.
they'll have to clean out
It's only rats, yo. All my friends is rats.
and wise up.
Your Uncle Jackson don't go over 35?
Paper soldiers.
Why you
y'all remember this, right? Paper Soldiers, right? Rockefeller Films, a super throwback, right? Jay-Z, or I'm sorry, Beanie Siegel, man, the Broad Street Bully, side convo, man. Man, it's like, kind of hurts to see Beanie Siegel the way in which he is, man. No disrespect to Beans, but like back then he was the Broad Street Bully. We know he done, did he lose a lung or something like that? Got shot a couple times. It was sad too when the game Meek Mill beef was going on. You guys remember that? When Meek's homie knocked Beanie Siegel out, sucker punched him. I forget dude's name, man. That was a damn shame, and it hurt to see Beanie Siegel in that light getting put to sleep like that, man. Like whether it was a sucker punch or not, and seeing him as he is now, like you see that trailer from Paper Soldiers, and it's like, okay, that was the Broad Street Bully back then. Memphis Bleak was in there. Nori had like a little cameo. Dame Dash was in the film as well. Kevin Hart, he looks like a whole nother person, man, just getting on in the game. Like that's a long way from back in those Rockefeller films that were semi-independent. I mean, they were getting budgets from a certain studio, but it wasn't like off top, straight up one of the major studios. It was kind of like an off-brand studio affiliated with a major studio. You know what I mean? Like Dame Dash was saying, I'm not tapped in with these individuals that Puff and Jay-Z are, you know, and it's wild too. He said that whole thing without flat out mentioning Jay-Z's name, but we all know what it is, man. You know what I mean? And I don't know, to look at Kevin Hart from then to where he's went now, just bigger than you would ever think that he would be, being in all these major motion pictures with huge budgets from studios, big studios, you know what I mean? Like Kevin Hart became that dude, the go-to guy with a lot of films, and you know, whenever they needed a comedy role like that, like Kevin Hart was that dude. And you heard Dame, he's like, one day all of a sudden, like I went and met up with him when he was on tour and his career started taking off more and he started getting booked in bigger venues, and it was cool when I went and seen him at NYU. But next thing you know, he does MSG, Madison Square Garden, the Garden, right? I'm like, I'm not welcome. He ain't fucking with me. All communications have ceased, you know? That's where Jay-Z did the Fade to Black, when he did the Black album and he retired. I believe a lot of that footage, like the music video also to that, can I get an encore? Do you want more? Cooking raw with the Brooklyn. Y'all remember that? That joint went hard. And Jay-Z went into semi-retirement to take a couple years off and then pop up with Kingdom Come, American Gangster, and then the Blueprint 3, back when all those Masonics, secret society, Illuminati theories were coming out. They were saying that there was some symbolism in that of Jay-Z fading to black and disappearing and coming back to kingdom come with new life. You know what I mean? Like we've seen in those Masonic rituals, it's creepy as hell, where the individuals like mock that they die and are reborn, you know, under the great architect of the universe and all this bugged out ish, man. Like it's some real weird ritualistic type ish. And, you know, a lot of individuals felt with the whole fade to black, quote unquote, semi-retirement. Like now Jay-Z's retired. He'll pop out and do a collab or a verse or something like that. But back then he was only gone for a couple of years, you know, then he popped back up with Kingdom Come. Many felt that that was symbolic of his rebirth, but Madison Square Garden is where he did that fade to black. You know what I mean? Just throwing that out there, not trying to make no wild, outlandish claims or anything. I'm just saying that's where Dame Dash said that Kevin Hart switched up on him. You know, he's like, we were tight. We were like, I fucked with him. I rocked with him. I put him on. I had him in Rockefeller Films. You know what I mean? Like we were cool on a level where I could reach out to him and just ask him like, yo, pause, no Diddy, what was going on with the baby oil? Like you were around there, did you see any of that ish? And he's like, I can't even get him on the jack no more, you know, like he just flat out doesn't talk to me anymore. It's odd. It's like, I want to know what everyone thinks. Is Dame Dash onto something? Is he telling us something, or is he just bitter, or what? You know what I mean? Because it really makes it sound like something just happened to these individuals where they crossed over into this other realm that he was never welcome in. And I don't know, man, to me it just simply sounds 100% like he's flat out saying some secret society type ish. It's wild too. We heard Suge Knight speaking about the case. You know, he's been very steadfast with the allegations that the feds were heated that J-Lo wouldn't cooperate about the Shine incident, that Diddy had her hold the strap, you know what I mean? Because they were going back and investigating crimes that weren't even just related to the trafficking ish and all that. And, you know, when she wasn't giving them what they wanted, that they sent Ben Affleck some nasty type footage, you know, exposing J-Lo. And that's where they're at with the divorce and all that, right? And Suge Knight has went on to name a lot of individuals, Dr. Dre, Jimmy Iovine, many others, but Jay-Z is one of them that he says flat out knows of, was privy to what Diddy was really doing with these parties, and, you know, was complicit in it, you know what I mean? But Suge Knight is known to run his mouth and tell some tall tales as well. But that's all I got on this one, man. Ish is seeming extra spooky. Dame Dash seemingly describing a secret society that Jay-Z, Kevin Hart, Diddy, you know, is involved in, that's powerful and crosses over into different entertainment worlds, and, you know, is like some high-powered, elite, upper echelon, rich and powerful type motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? And he speaks of Jay-Z, Kevin Hart, you know, to name a few. What do y'all think of it all? Let's talk about it in the comments. Check out that video that I was talking about with this Homeland Security agent that was a part of the raid on Diddy's crib, what he had to say and all that. Let's talk about it all in the comments. Subscribe and stay tuned for updates. It's coffee. I'm up out of here, y'all. Peace.